Hello, and welcome to The Budget Mouse, a podcast that will help you plan an incredible Walt Disney World vacation, even if you're on a shoestring budget. I'm Leah Althizer, and I've been helping people save money at Disney World for the past 10 years through my websites, podcast, and courses. I'm so glad you're here, and let's dive in. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to episode 104. I just got back from a quick trip to Walt Disney World. I went by myself. The point was to do as much as I could in 48 hours, and I have so much to tell you, so I'm just going to get right to it. I arrived in Terminal C, which is the new terminal at Orlando International Airport, and I kind of forgot. I flew down on JetBlue and forgot that it was going to drop me off in the new terminal, and it's just so nice. So much nicer there than the old terminals A and B. And so just be prepared if you're flying into Orlando and JetBlue that you're going to be dropped off at Terminal C. Now they have car rentals there, and in fact, I've done a car rental where I have picked it up at the main terminals A and B and then returned it at Terminal C, and it's no problem at all. So the rental car companies move the cars back and forth and everything as needed, but just be aware that you're coming into a different terminal that looks completely different from the rest of the airport. And if you do need to go connect flights, there's a little train that connects Terminal C to Terminals A and B. Next, I took an Uber straight from the airport to Animal Kingdom Lodge because I was going to get dinner at BOMA first thing when I landed on the ground. So I had trouble finding an ADR, it's an advanced dining reservation for BOMA the day before, which surprised me because that restaurant the day before usually has wide open availability. The reason I couldn't find it is I was searching for just one person. When it dawned on me that I could search for two people, because you can always adjust a Disney dining reservation by one person in either direction. When I searched for two-person reservation, there was so much availability. So for whatever reason, BOMA limits it to where if you're searching for two people, there's a lot of availability, but just for one, not so much. So use that as a trick. Like if you're a party of three and you're having trouble finding availability, search for four. Same thing if you're two, search for three, and different times may come up. Just a little hack I thought I would mention. So I arrived with my luggage because I came straight from the airport. So I actually went to Bell Services and said, hey, can I just store my bags with you for a couple of hours while I have dinner? And they're like, sure, of course. And I am always prepared to tip a couple of dollars per bag when I do this. I like to tip when I drop it off and when I pick it back up. So like I did $5 because I had two bags, $5 when I dropped it off and $5 again when I pick it back up. So just be prepared with that. Then I went and took a bunch of pictures and videos of the resort, and I went straight to do some free marshmallow roasting out on the Savannah, which is a great activity that's now at every single Disney World resort. It used to just be at the deluxe resorts, then it made its way to the moderates, then down to the values. So now at every Disney resort, they offer this. It's free. They gave me a bag of 6 marshmallows, which was overkill since it was just me. And then you can roast the marshmallows, and it's a great view. There's animals right off of the deck there at Animal Kingdom Lodge. It's a really fun thing to do. BOMA on this trip was excellent. I've complained about it in the past because I think it's really expensive for what it is. But honestly, I don't know why this time I thought it was worth it. And the last time I went, I was like, it's not worth it. So I don't know. I just, your mileage may vary, I guess, for me at least. It's $50 per person if you are paying with a Disney Reward Visa because you get a 10% discount at BOMA and many other restaurants. If you pay with either a Chase Disney Visa credit card, or you get rewards from this card and you can put them onto this rewards card. If you pay with your rewards card, you also get the 10% discount. So I was paying totally with rewards I had earned through the credit card, and I got 10% off on top of that. So, I mean, $50 per person is not cheap, but the quality of the food is so high, the number of choices you have so high. And on this trip, I was like, this is totally worth it. So I'll take that for what it's worth. I then took an Uber to where I was staying that night, which was a new place for me. I am curious about the Disney Springs hotels. I get asked about them a lot. I've only stayed at a handful. There are, 8. There's many. So I thought I should try a different one. I tried the Hilton Buena Vista Palace, which is right across the street from Disney Springs. I wanted to walk over to Disney Springs that night and take some video, do a little research. And so I was like, well, I'll just be really close to it. I booked it with Hilton points. I would not recommend doing that because I don't think I got a great value from the points. I probably should have paid cash for it considering what I got. So I arrived there, went up to my room. The room smelled like smoke. Gross. I tried to wash my hands. Water came spraying out of the faucet when I just barely turned it on. I was like, oh man, this is just what you get at the standard chain hotel experience. I mean, I'm spoiled because I mostly stay at Disney World resorts, which honestly, you would never have that. Either of those things would never happen. Then I turned the bathroom fan on. It's like, clunk, 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 clunk. I was like, that's it. Not good. So that's my opinion of the place. I mean, it's meh. It has no personality whatsoever in the lobby. The only good thing about it is it's a 10 to 15 minute walk to Disney Springs, and that's about it. I did get an Epcot fireworks view room. I did have a little balcony, so I was able to sit out on the balcony and watch the fireworks at Epcot, but it was kind of an obstructed view. Like you couldn't see Spaceship Earth in its entirety. It was blocked by a building. It was just meh. So anyway, you can tell how I feel about this place. I would not recommend it. I would never do it again. But it was a place to rest my head that night. And the next morning early, I took an Uber to Caribbean Beach, where I left my bags at Bell Services again and hopped on a bus to Magic Kingdom. So I was staying at Caribbean Beach that night, and my plan was to go to Magic Kingdom for the morning, take the monorail over to Epcot, and then when I was done there, I was hoping my room would be ready, and I could then take the Skyliner from Epcot over to Caribbean Beach and rest for a while before I headed out for the evening. And that plan worked really, really well. So I was inside Magic Kingdom at 7:57 a.m. I know I've mentioned this recently on the podcast, but when Magic Kingdom opens to everyone at 9 a.m., anyone can enter an hour early, and actually earlier than that. They let people in at 7:50. They just start letting people in to Main Street USA only, but there's a lot you can do. Shopping, breakfast, pictures in front of the castle, pictures all on Main Street USA. And that is the time to do it. Not when there are rides open that you can be going on. It's the best time to do any of the above. I had posted a reel on Instagram about riding the Main Street USA vehicles, and it got a lot of interest. And so these are little, turn of the century vehicles that just run up and down Main Street all day. And anyone that wants to can hop on them and go for a ride down Main Street. And then they also drop off in front of Cinderella Castle. You could hop on it there and ride it back up to the entrance. It's right inside the entrance. In front of Town Hall is one pickup. And then on the other side, I forget what that building is called on the other side, but yes, right over there across the circle there. I rode a vehicle I had not ridden before, which is the Omnibus. It's a 2-story bus, and I wanted to sit on the top and get a great view of Main Street USA, kind of like a bird's eye view. It was so much fun. I was with a mom and daughter who sat on the front bench with me so we get the best view, and they just kept like, this is the coolest thing I've ever done here. This is amazing. And just not that many people know about it. So something fun to do if you get there early too. I walked down Main Street USA and then came back and then rode the omnibus down to get a different view. It's really fun. So I have become increasingly not a fan of rope drop. I hate the crowds of people. I hate the shuffling in. I have just decided I'm not doing it anymore. So I just hang out in the hub until they drop the rope and let people in. So this would be at 8:30 a.m. when they're letting Disney Resort guests into Fantasyland and Tomorrowland. And I just let everybody shuffle in. A minute later, I just walk in with no crowd because I just don't care. I don't care enough to be at the front of the pack and elbowing people and getting my heels stepped on and everything. I'm over it. Because what I wanted to do first thing was ride Astro Orbiter, which is my favorite rope drop ride. And there was me and then one other family who was laughing. They're like, we're rope dropping Astro Orbiter. And I said, that's because you're smart. This is the best ride to rope drop. We had it completely to ourselves. It's so much fun. The kids were losing their minds. They're having the best time. And then at the end of the ride, they said, can we go on it again? And the cast members were like, sure. And they just went on it again and again. And the kids, like, that was probably the highlight of the trip for the kids, that they got to ride Astro Orbiter a bunch of times in a row. First thing in the morning. It was so much fun. Anyway, it's my favorite rope drop ride. Forget all the others. But then I got off and was able to go on Buzz Lightyear and go on the People Mover, which are some of my favorite rides, all of them before 9 a.m. So I did 3 attractions before 9 a.m., which is pretty amazing considering most people were still waiting in the line for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Tron. Those are the two biggies that people rope drop in that area, and Peter Pan, but not as many people. So anyway, that's just my take on the rope drop experience. Now, a big thing I was testing on this trip was an app called Stand by Skipper. I have known of this app for at least 5 years. I think it seems to me about 5 years. I do lose track of time with these things, but I've never tried it out. It's an additional cost on top of the Lightning Lane multipass, and I was skeptical. I was like, I'm pretty good at using Lightning Lanes. Like, I don't really think I need to pay something else on top in order for me to get better access to the Lightning Lanes, because the way Stand by Skipper works is you pay to have access to it. You can either pay for 1 day, which is $25, but that is for up to 12 people. So it's not per person. It's just $25 for access for your whole group for 1 day, or $45 for your whole group for a week. Now, if you break that down per person per day, it's crazy cheap, and you are not even going to believe how well it worked. It was shocking to me. I mean, it takes a lot to surprise me at Disney World at this point because I've gone so many times and done so many things. I was blown away by this service. So when you pay, what happens is that the app friends you in My Disney Experience. They become part of your friends and family. So you never have to share a password or give them access to your account in any way. They just temporarily become one of your friends in My Disney Experience. So they're able to make Lightning Lane selections for you and anyone in your group that you give them access to. So you go into the app, and this does have to be done the morning of. I don't know if they'll have in the works to change that at some point where you can make your selections more ahead of time, but you do have to do it the morning of. You can do it starting at midnight. You go in and you basically say all the rides that you want it to try and get you Lightning Lane access for. And you can specify, do you want to ride this ride in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, or in the next 2 hours? So basically immediately, like what's the next possible time you can find a Lightning Lane pass for me to ride this ride? So I wasn't sure how it would work. I put in some things I knew that I wanted because my goal was to go to 3 parks that day, to take lots of video and pictures, and I wanted to go on a lot of attractions. So going in, I had my burner ride, which go back and listen to the last episode if you know what I'm talking about, but I had my 905 Dumbo burner ride. I had another selection. I think it was for Pirates of the Caribbean, yes, at like 10:40. And then I had Peter Pan, I think, for later. And it was for later than I wanted because I wanted to be park hopping by then. So as soon as I tapped in for Dumbo at 9:05, 10 seconds later, it had grabbed me a Lightning Lane for Big Thunder Mountain in 20 minutes. And I was like, wait, what? That was crazy. So this is the theme of how it went the whole day. I then went and did Big Thunder Mountain. As soon as I tapped in for Big Thunder Mountain, it got me another one. It was Haunted Mansion I wanted to do next, and for like 20 minutes away. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be crazy. And I instantly changed my strategy. I deleted the 2 existing Lightning Lanes that I had because I knew that the app could get me sooner times and that I'd be able to do them sooner if I just got rid of them. So as soon as I got rid of them, it freed up the spots because it only goes in and makes you another selection when you become available to make it. When you check in for one of your Lightning Lanes, it basically opens up a spot in your Lightning Lane backpack, you could say, and then it will make you another one. But I went in and deleted those 2, so I had 2 open spots. So immediately filled with times that were very soon for me to go and ride these other rides. So I did. Oh my God, I did. I went and did the magic carpets of Aladdin, which I really only was doing to take video. But as I was in the queue for it, and it was a 5-minute wait, Jasmine and Aladdin themselves got on the ride and rode in a carpet with a little girl and her mom, and were waving to everyone and full character, like, oh, this magic carpet ride's amazing. It was so cool. I'm sorry. Stuff like that is why I love Disney World. It's so surprising and just delightful. So apparently, I looked into it afterwards. They do this often before they go to their character meet and greet. So they start meeting guests, I think at 10, and that would make sense because it was like 9:40, I think, at this point, or 9:50, right before they started meeting people. So if you want to ride with them or see them riding the magic carpets, it's not guaranteed that they're going to do that every day, but that would be the time when you would do it. And I've also heard that maybe at the end of the day, when they're just done with their meet and greets, they might go and ride them right after that too, before they go away for the day. So anyway, that was lovely. I went and did Pirates, then I went and did Haunted Mansion. Then I had bought an individual Lightning Lane for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. I hadn't been on it in a long time. It was fun. Went and did that. Then I had to go get a snack because I was so hungry. And I wanted to try this viral creme brulee croissant at Gaston's Tavern. And, snacks like that usually don't live up to the hype. This one lived up to the hype. It was so good. There were like flecks of vanilla bean in the creme brulee custard that were inside this croissant. And on the top, it had that like burnt sugar crust that you get on real creme brulee. It was brilliant. I don't know whoever thought that up. I was like, why has this not been here until now? This is the best idea. So anyway, really worth it. I think it was $5. Great snack. Then I went and rode a bunch of other rides, all with Standby Skipper getting them for me as soon as I tapped in. Now, I have to give a disclaimer. It was just one person, so easier to get a Lightning Lane pass for just one person. If you're with a party of 8, it is going to be harder for it to find availability. Also, it was a very low crowd day. It was empty. I mean, okay, Magic Kingdom is never empty, but I know what wait times look like on crowded days at Magic Kingdom, and the wait times were short. Of course, it always feels crowded. There's lots of people in Magic Kingdom when you're walking around in the paths and everything, but the wait times are what really give you a clue as to how crowded it is, and it was a low crowd day. So just keep that in mind. Like, these results are probably not typical, but if you're in a situation like me where you want to ride as many things as possible, it's just one person, absolutely get this app. It is incredible for doing just that, riding lots of things. So let's see. I did Haunted Mansion, Small World, Peter Pan. Oh, it got me Tiana's Bayou Adventure Lightning Lane too, which, they were sold out when going into that day. I think Peter Pan was sold out too. I mean, it was crazy. It was getting me things that it shouldn't have been able to get me, yet it did. So I did all of that I wanted to at Magic Kingdom by noon. And then I rode the monorail over to Epcot. I really wanted to ride Guardians. The reason being is that Guardians to me is 10 times better than any other ride at Walt Disney World. I don't know why I love it so much, but it is the best to me. It's my now favorite. Expedition Everest used to be my favorite ride, but it has surpassed that by a lot, and it is now my favorite. So I went and I spent $14 to get a single pass for it so I could do it. I tried out some things at Food and Wine. I went to, for the first time, the Chase Disney Visa character meet and greet. It is at the Imagination Pavilion. If you're going like you're going to the Pixar Short Film Festival, there's another building that's to the left of that. I guess they're kind of connected, but you go in there. You have to show your Chase Disney Visa card. You have to have the actual card with you or a rewards redemption card. I had both. But there was one family in front of me, and then I got to go in and have like a private meet and greet with Mickey and Goofy, which I didn't think it would be Mickey. I thought it would be some second tier characters. Oh no, it's the big cheese himself. And that was great. So they also give you free access to the pictures in PhotoPass, so you don't have to buy them, like similar to ride photos. So when you buy Lightning Lane Multipass, you get then free downloads of the pictures that are taken on the attraction. So you get free downloads of the photos from the PhotoPass photographer in your app. It was great. And definitely, the only reason I haven't done it before, I was worried it would be a long wait. But again, this was a low crowd day. I don't know if the wait ever gets long for it, but there was no one there when I went, which was awesome. It got me a lightning lane for Remy's, and I went and did that. And by that point, I was exhausted, so I took the Skyliner to Caribbean Beach. Now, I had booked a room at Caribbean Beach that was a 5th sleeper standard view room. My goal was to get put into one of the new Little Mermaid rooms. They call them the Under the Sea rooms at Caribbean Beach. They are only located in the Trinidad section, which is the farthest section from the main building and main pool. However, they're the closest to the Skyliner. So if you are, like I was, coming from Epcot and then that night went back on the Skyliner to Hollywood Studios, and I didn't really care about being close to the main building at all, I just wanted access to the Skyliner, absolutely tried to get into one of these rooms because they're brand new, renovated. They are gorgeous. There's a couch, like that. It's a Murphy bed. It's one of the new ones they have mostly in DVC rooms, but it's a Murphy bed that has a couch on the front, folds down into another queen bed. And it has a 5th sleeper. It has like a single bed that folds down onto the wall too. So much room, gorgeous decor, not over the top Little Mermaid like the art of animation. It really tastefully done and lovely, and 5 minutes from the Skyliner line. So how I got the room was I had to request that because you can't book it. You just book the 5th sleeper room, either standard view or water pool view. And then I did a room request a new way. I did it through chat in the My Disney Experience app. And I just basically went in and said, hey, I just want to make a room request for this room. And they were like, okay, add it to your reservation. I was like, wait, what? That was so easy. But I was like, okay, because, room requests, like, they'll say they're adding them. And I'm always like, are you really adding them? But I got the room. I got the room that I wanted. So it must have gone through. So that will be my go-to way to make room requests in the future. So like I said, I was exhausted. I needed a solid 2.5 hours in the room to recover from that epic morning. And in the meantime, Standby Skipper had grabbed me Lightning Lane passes for Slinky Dog Dash, Toy Story Mania, and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway for Hollywood Studios that evening. Starting at 7 p.m., I had them all stacked up for the evening. So it's insane that it was able to get all of that for me. And I had nothing like this going in. So at about 7, I went over to Hollywood Studios. My intention was to get dinner at the ABC commissary. The reason being the menu has been updated lately. It looked really good. I've eaten it in the past and it was among the worst quick service dining in all of Walt Disney World. So I walk into the ABC commissary and I just look around and I'm like, no, I cannot do it. It is too gross in here. So I turned around and walked out and I went to my favorite place to get quick service food in Hollywood Studios, which is Docking Bay 7 in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And you know what? It was awesome. It never disappoints. The atmosphere in there is unbelievably cool for a quick service restaurant. There's like sound effects, lighting effects. It is themed to the max. The food is great. I had this fancy dessert that looks like it's at a table service restaurant for $6. It was crazy good. It was like a mousse on a brownie. It was awesome. So anyway, I couldn't do it. I wanted to, but I just couldn't. I then went and rode a bunch of rides. So I did Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Then it got me another pass for Tower of Terror. I went and did that. Then it started pouring down rain and thunder and lightning, which closed down Slinky Dog Dash. So I didn't get to actually use my my Lightning Lane multi-pass for Slinky Dog because it closed down. But what I did was go get in the Rock and Roller Coaster single rider line and did that instead. And I hadn't done that in years, so it was really fun. At that point, I had to decide. It was about 8:40. The park was closing at 9. Did I want to go use my Toy Story Mania ride? Or did I want to go get in line for Rise of the Resistance right at the end of the day? Because the app said the wait was 20 minutes. My thought was it was a walk-on. And so I was like, well, I'm going to find out. So I went over to Rise of the Resistance. It was a complete walk-on. I just walked right onto the ride. No one was in front of me. So that is a great strategy for the end of the day, is to, instead of rope dropping, the chaos of rope drop, Save one of the headliners for the very end of the day. You can get in line for attractions up until the minute that the park technically closes. All of the parks stay open well after their posted closing time. And in fact, Hollywood Studios supposedly closed at 9, but there was a Fantasmic show at 9:30. So clearly the park is open after 9. If there's nighttime entertainment scheduled at 9:30, that's just the time when the queues shut down. They don't let anyone else on any rides at 9, but at 8:55, you can get in line and nobody's in line. Disney, I hate to accuse them of this, but they tend to inflate the wait times at the end of the day. Like it will say 30 minutes for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. It will be a 5-minute wait. So just don't trust the wait times at the end of the day. There is rarely a long wait for anything. The only exception to this might be Tron, because people prefer to ride it at night because of the lighting effects, and people have been getting in line for the hour before that, so it might be kind of backed up. So I wouldn't say to expect a 5-minute wait on Tron at the end of the night, but I think for any other ride, pretty much, you could expect that. Now, my plan was to stay late in the park anyway, because I had an ADR for Oga's Cantina at 9:40 p.m. I wanted to stay late in Hollywood Studios to get pictures and videos in Galaxy's Edge at night because it's so cool and it's empty. So I did. I got the best pictures and videos of Galaxy's Edge at night. I went and had one drink at Oga's Cantina. It was a full-on party in there at 9:30 p.m. I went a little early, and I was like, I am too old for this. I am tired. I had my one drink and bye, and I was out of there. So grand total, I did 18 rides in 3 parks. I could have done a lot more. I did a lot of stopping to take pictures and videos and everything, but Standby Skipper is, to me, a necessity going forward. I didn't have to ever go in to the My Disney Experience app. I just got notifications on my phone. Standby Skipper has booked a lightning lane for you. Standby Skipper has booked a lightning lane for you. Again and again and again, and it would show me the time on the notification. I never had to go into the app to mess with anything, to update anything. I just went into the rides. It was amazing. Their stat is that people who use it spend 80% less time on their phones. That was absolutely true in my experience. So I'll put a link to Standby Skipper in the show notes for this, along with other links to my Lightning Lane cheat sheets, Disney Chase Visa, which I need to say one more thing about. Anything I mentioned in the show, I'll try and link in the show notes. The thing I forgot to say about the Chase Disney Visa card was that forever, I've had it for probably 15 years. There's always been a policy of you get 10% off merchandise purchase in the parks if the purchase is over $50. I went and bought a Diet Coke after Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and I went and paid with my rewards card, and the cast member said, "Oh, you get 10% off of this." I said, "Wait, what? I thought it had to be $50. He said, "Oh no, earlier this year we did away with that. It's any purchase." And I was like, "What? That is great. That is such a huge benefit to having the card." And I have the no annual fee card. I'm not paying an annual fee, and I'm just getting discounts galore at Disney World on dining, on merchandise, on everything. So for me, that card is a no-brainer to have in your wallet. It's great. So the next day, I was understandably very tired. What I wanted to do was just go do some non-park day recommended activities. So as part of this new membership that I'm about to tell you about, you're going to get custom non-park day itineraries that are printable. You can print out and have like an itinerary of what to do on a day where you don't go to the parks. So the membership is something I've been working on for months, and I'm so excited to announce it officially. It launches today, which is October 5th, 2024. It's called Neverland Travel Club, and it has many features, but the feature that I'm most excited about are exclusive discounts that I have negotiated with many Disney travel services. So you can get a discount on park tickets through my new partner, The Park Prodigy. You can get discounts on DVC rentals, discounts on airport transfers. I have never been able to offer this to my readers and listeners before, and I finally am able to do it through this low-cost monthly membership. It's $7 a month. It gets you access to all of the discounts and a printables library that is going to blow your mind with how helpful these printables are. Like, you'll be, I never knew that I needed this, but this makes my trip planning so much easier and saves me hours and hours of research. So I'm going to give you a link in the show notes, but it's really easy to find. It's thebudgetmouse.com/Neverland. Please check it out. You will love it. So I went and did a lot of research for these non-park day itineraries. I had a fancy brunch at Primo Piatto at Riviera, which was a short Skyliner ride from my room. It was $13. It's one of my favorite things to do. Riviera is so fancy. Primo Piatto is the quick service restaurant on the ground floor. It is gorgeous. The food is served like you're at a table service restaurant on plates with silverware, cloth napkins. The food is incredible and it's so cheap. All of their brunch items are from $10 to $13. So it's a must-do now for me at Disney World. Also, another tip, this episode is so jam-packed with tips, oh my gosh, is that when I was in my room that morning, I called the front desk, which is just calling a general Disney line, and I asked for a late checkout. The checkout time is 11. I just said, is there any way I could get a late checkout? And they said, let me check. They came back and they said, yes, we can give you a late checkout of 12:30. That was perfect because I was going to be out and about taking all these pictures and videos till then and then heading to the airport. And I was like, that's perfect. Thank you so much. So another tip, if you've never tried that, always ask. I mean, they can't always do it. It wasn't very busy this time of year, so they were able to do it, or maybe they had enough staff, they were able to do it. Don't expect it, but it is a great bonus when you get it because then I didn't have to haul my bags somewhere to store them. I could just keep them in my room, come back, grab them, and go right to the airport. So that's about it. I flew home on Delta, despite that I flew in on JetBlue, because I almost always do that. I'm just looking for the airline that has the best times and the best prices. And it's often two different airlines that I'm flying in. I flew on points both times. So inside Neverland Travel Club, I give you tons of advice on how to fly for free on points and miles. There's so many resources in there on that. So thank you for listening to this rather long trip report. I hope you got a lot of tips you can use, and have a great day.